Today I will be giving you an introduction and about convergent boundaries, and I will be going into detail about what convergent boundaries are and the results of different types of convergent boundaries. The landforms that it creates as a result. Now, the first slide that you see is actually a visual of a very good visual of what type of convergent boundaries we get to see. Okay, the first one is where you have an oceanic crust. First of all, let's go back and talk a little bit about what convergent boundaries or plate movement is. Convergent plate movement is when two tectonic plates move towards each other. When they move towards each other, and that stems from the word converge, or they converge towards each other. And so there are different types of convergent plate movement. In the first example, it shows how an oceanic plate is moving towards a continental plate. In the second visual, it shows how an oceanic plate here is moving towards another oceanic plate. In the third visual, you have a continental plate or a continental crust moving towards another continental crust, or converging towards another continental crust. Now, how do these plates move? We discussed that very briefly in the previous lesson, but we will go into greater detail right now. Now, in this diagram, you can see that there is some water being heated up in a beaker. What this is showing is the basic idea behind convection currents. So when you heat water, the liquid at the bottom gets heated first. It becomes more dense and rises. As it rises to the surface, the molecules of water cool down, become less dense, and sink to the bottom. And this is a continuous process, which is called a convection current. Now we take the same idea to the mantle or the asthenosphere, where the magma gets heated up at the bottom more, gets less dense, rises, cools down, becomes more dense, and sinks. And now this constant movement of magma helps the plates on top to move in either direction. Now, convergent plate boundaries, as mentioned before, there are two plates that are moving towards each other and they collide. The denser, heavier plate will go below, and the less denser plate. This process is called subduction, where a more dense plate sinks under the less dense plate. And as it sinks, it reaches places where it's really hot, and so this hard rock starts to melt. So basically, why do tectonic plates move, and how do tectonic plates move? Basically, the tectonic plates move because of a process called convection currents, and there is a slap pull force, but we will not be going into detail regarding this. So convection currents are the main reasons as to why the plates move. Now, let's review. Convection currents are the movements of heat within the mantle. Material in the mantle is heated by the core. Mantle expands, rises, expands, and then becomes less dense, rises, and then cools down and sinks. This continuous motion moves plates.